Hi English students, this is Miss Newman, and at this point we need to talk about your poetry essay. A poetry essay is essentially an essay where you analyze poetry, and I have 4 specific poems that are assigned. Of course, it's on the weekly content folder, but I've got them listed on here as well, and I've also done the citations for you for these literary works. So essentially, you'll read the poems and tell me your interpretation of what the author intended. What did the author do as far as with symbolism or the message of the poem or any aspect that really stood out to you as a reader? You're focusing in on that aspect. So the draft is due Wednesday, July 20th by midnight in the Content Week 4 folder. And when you submit it, it'll count as that week's daily grade and attendance grade. It's worth 20% of your final grade, so not nearly as much as that research paper, but still quite a chunk of your total final grade. Essay should be at least 600 words in length. That is shorter than your research paper, and the works cited page with the literary works cited will count towards that word count as well. Not surprisingly, it's 12-point Times New Roman font, double spaced with MLA heading and style, so make sure you use that page 192 in your Seagull book for an example of how MLA formatting looks. There's also a really good example of the works cited page on page 199 in the Seagull book as well, so definitely recommend checking that out as you're working on the works cited portion of this essay. You must have a works cited page with the literary works cited, but notice the second page has that done for you. I thought that would be helpful considering we don't have very long on this essay. And then that way you'll already have them cited, and these are the ones from the textbook, your Norton textbook for 102. It even lists the page numbers before the word print, so if you need help navigating exactly where they're located, they are right before the word print, the page numbers are. So you can copy and paste that, but only do the ones that you cover. So for instance, if you only cover How Do I Love Thee, you will only have 1 citation. But if you decide to write about 3 poems and focus on them for each body paragraph, each of the 3, you would have 3 citations. So it just depends on how many poems you're covering on whether you'll have that many citations. If you're not sure, just let me know. I'm happy to answer questions about that works cited page as well. I do not want any outside sources. So emphasis on no outside sources, and I'll explain why. I want to know your interpretation of these poems, not what online website you found, because I've heard a lot of those interpretations already. I want your own original creative thoughts on this poem or these poems, depending on how many you write about. So just make sure you don't include any outside sources. You've already done your research paper at this point, so I already know that you can research with outside sources. At this point, I want you to emphasize your own analysis, your own opinions about literature, not what someone else's opinions. Here are some topic ideas to help guide you. So for instance, there's comparing and contrasting 2 characters. You could focus on imagery, themes, love. Of course, a lot of the poems focus on love, so I've had some really good papers that use the love theme and focus on how it's portrayed differently in each of the poems. So for instance, My Mistress's Eyes Are Nothing Like the Sun is very different from the love portrayed in Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day, even though they're both Shakespearean sonnets. And then How Do I Love Thee is another type of love. So if you wanted to focus on how love is expressed in these 3 different poems, that would be a very easy way to handle an essay assignment like this. So just to show you that that's how I, what exactly I'm expecting, because that way you can use those topic ideas to help guide you along in your paper. You could also focus on how the author's message is or is not relevant today. Some of these are a little more old-fashioned, and this is the modern day, so you can analyze whether or not you feel like it still applies to the modern reader or not. You could also focus on how the conclusion is foreshadowed, settings, symbolism, or death in the afterlife. So it really just depends on what angle you want to take on these topics. I've got the page number listed here for these literature options, and these are the only 4 poems we're covering for this class, so please don't write about anything else. I know you might have written a really awesome poetry essay in high school, but I want you to focus on the ones that we are covering for English 102 specifically. You will have 10 points off every day late, which that's just my standard late policy to encourage students to turn in their papers on time. All your final drafts will be graded using the 102 grading rubric and will be scanned with anti-plagiarism software, so please make sure that you do write your own original paper and don't take any information from online. Please let me know if you have any questions about that too. I've got a spot down here for brainstorming and outlining, but that's not required for the assignment. I just have noticed that students like to take notes on their topic sheet, so I like to provide a spot for you to list out ideas about the topics for your paper. Please let me know if you have any questions about this paper or any assignment for the class. Also, don't forget we have an excellent writing center that the tutors can tutor you online or in person. So if you need help making an appointment with them, please let me know and I'll be happy to guide you through that process. So I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks. Bye.